Do you like my friend? What can he see? Hey guys, welcome back to ToK Today. My name's Daniel and I'm here to help you. Okay, do you want 3 easy wins on the ToK essay? What do you mean by easy wins, Mr. Daniel, you may say? Okay, what I mean by easy wins are things that you can do very easily which will make the ToK essay much easier for you to write, less stress, more success. These things will speed up the process, they'll help you to get a better grade on the ToK essay. So easy win number 1 is make sure that you actually answer the actual question which is actually asked. I know, there's a lot of actuallys there. The thing that I'm getting at here is that often students will change the question or reinterpret the question, reinterpret it for their own ends, answer the question that they would prefer to have been asked or than the one that's actually been asked. Or they'll answer a question that they think should have been asked. Or, with all best intentions, students, when they're unpacking the question, will change the nature of the question. Let me give you 2 examples of not actually answering the question which has been set. So the first example is going to be a non-ToK example, and the second example will be a ToK example. We use the non-ToK example just to make it very clear to all students. Then we'll use the ToK example because that's what we're here to do. ToK today, we do ToK. Okay. All right, so the non-ToK example. If the question was, how do we know that Batman is better than Superman? Okay, and the student said, well, the question isn't really about how do we know whether Batman is better than Superman, it's that Spider-Man is better than both of them. So let me explain to you why Spider-Man is better than Superman and Batman. That's changing the nature of the question. The examiner didn't ask about Spider-Man. Only wants to know about Batman and Superman. Okay, it's a spurious example, it's superficial, but I hope it sort of starts to help you to understand that you have to address the main thrust of the question, the main ideas in the question.
It's getting clearer now, Daniel.
Okay, so let's look at a ToK example. Say, for example, the question is new knowledge created to meet new need, or does new knowledge create new needs? It's a circular question. And if the student said, well, rather than thinking about the relationship between knowledge and need, the important thing is that new knowledge is discovered through a process of serendipity. Serendipity, one of my favorite ideas, sort of stumbling across things by accident. It's a nice idea. I'm not sure whether it actually happens in ToK, but that's another discussion. Yes, so say the student had argued is that new knowledge might actually be created not by need or for need or creating need, but just discovered by serendipity. And they talk about that at length and they give examples. They're going into like Fleming's discovery of penicillin and all of this sort of stuff. Then they have missed the main thrust of the question. And whilst that serendipity point might be a nice evaluation point, it's not going to get the students many marks in the essay because they'll have missed that key idea, which is the relationship between need and knowledge construction. That's easier said than done, I hear you shout. Yes, it is. I know, because you have to unpack the question. And some of the questions are so big that it's difficult to answer all of it. So you have to sort of maybe accept some assumptions and not challenge them, accept some relationships in the question and not challenge them. Other ones you might have to discount. It really depends. My advice to you here is that if you think that you are in danger of changing the nature of the question, then talk to your teacher. Yeah? Talk to your teacher and say, this is the way that I think I'm going to go through the question. Show them your essay plan, show them your arguments, and they'll be able to judge whether you're changing the nature of the question too much. Hopefully you're not. So that's my first advice. Don't change the nature of the question. Actually answer the actual question, which has actually been set by the actual IB, actual examiner. Actually. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. To be or not to be? As Hamlet in his soliloquy mused upon the nature of existence, I would like to open my ToK essay with a discussion about the existence of humans, human knowledge, our knowledge of ourselves, the nature of the universe, and all other important wider aspects. What do you want about, Daniel? What's going on? Why are you quoting Shakespeare at us? Well, that will be the response of the IB examiner if you open your essay with some big, meaningful, flowery quote. Okay? This is the second easy win on the ToK essay, which is don't waste your time and words, crucially words, on superfluous quotes, on big, flowery quotes about the nature of human existence. You don't have the words for that. 1,600 words, as I constantly say, it's not really enough to answer the questions which are there, but it's all that you've got, so you've got to use every single one of them to answer the question. You don't need to do big scene setting. You don't need to tell the examiner how well read you are or how much you think about the nature of existence. Just get straight to the point, get into it, yeah? I often read these essays which sort of start, 5 trillion years ago, the universe started, and from the universe, millions of galaxies and solar systems were created, and we are but a speck of dust on the firmament of existence. And this goes on, and then we get down to the actual bit of the ToK essay, maybe after about 400 words. Now, putting those flowery quotes in doesn't lose you any marks, yeah? The IB uses positive marking, so you never get marks taken off for things that are wrong or superfluous, but you only get marks for things that are directly relevant, and those flowery quotes are not directly relevant. I don't know why students do this. I don't know if it's because they've been taught to do it maybe in English. I certainly don't think they've been taught to do it in individuals and societies or humanities subjects. But yeah, you don't waste time and words on those big superfluous quotes.
Give the examples, Daniel.
There are very few times when you can actually use a quote, and if you want more information on that, then go to the blog about this, the blog on toktoday.com about this. I'll put a card up here. I've got to learn to get that right. I think it's up here. And you can look at the times when you actually can use a quote. But most of the time, 95% of essays don't require any quotes at all, and it doesn't really help you to get any marks. If you're using a quote as evidence and there's no other way to cite the evidence, then it might be useful, but most of the time it's not. So save yourself time researching quotes, save yourself words by not using the quotes, and just leave the quotes out. Leave Shakespeare for the English class. Shakespeare is wonderful, and there's lots of ToK in Shakespeare, but I think that's for another video. I think it's for another video. It's not for today's video. Today's video is 3, that's 4. Today's video is 3 easy wins on the ToK essay, and that leads us on to easy win number 3. Okay, easy win number 3. Saves you a lot of time, this one, okay? And it's quite simply draw examples or evidence for your ToK arguments from your DP subjects, okay? You don't need to go off and learn new evidence or new information or new real-world context for your ToK essay, you can just use the things that you have been studying in your other diploma subjects. So, for example, if you're writing an essay about how knowledge develops over time, and in chemistry you've learned about a new aspect to molecular theory or to atomic theory, then you can use that evidence in your essay as an example of how knowledge develops over time. Now, if you don't know what came before that new theory that you've learned, you just go and see your chemistry teacher and you say, "Excuse me, Mr. Chemistry Teacher," or "Mrs. Chemistry Teacher, if you have a moment to spare or when it's convenient, can I talk to you about the development of this theory? What existed before this theory? What were the main ideas before this theory? Who were the main theorists in this field before this theory? What experimental processes led to the construction of the new knowledge?" And your chemistry teacher, because they're a wonderful diploma program teacher and an IB teacher, and they like collaboration and cross-program articulation, they will say, "Excellent, I would love to talk to you about that. This has so many advantages if you bring your hexagon subject content into ToK, and then you go and talk to your hexagon subject teachers about the ToK." The first advantage is that it saves you time and work because you're not going away and you're not learning new stuff. The next advantage is that your hexagon subject teacher gets some idea of what's happening in ToK, and that will help them to start to understand the themes and the ideas that are happening in ToK, which then means that they can start to exemplify or sort of bring that out more in their hexagon subject teaching. They can sort of put more emphasis on it in their hexagon subject teaching, which they'll want to do. And the third thing which is really good about it is by using that content from the hexagon in ToK, you're relearning that hexagon subject content and you're learning more about it, which will help you in your hexagon subject. So just to go back to our chemistry student, they're going to be thinking and writing more about this new theory that they've just learned in chemistry. So when it comes to their chemistry exams, they're going to be even better at chemistry and they'll get an even higher score in chemistry. That sort of integrating ToK and hexagon subjects is good stuff, and we really recommend it. That's the word I was looking for. I've seen some students who have decided to write their ToK essay using examples from a subject that they don't study. Yeah, I often get this with psychology. So the student doesn't study psychology, but they've decided that they're going to use psychology content in their ToK essay. And I say to the student, "But you don't study psychology, it's going to be more work for you. You're going to have to go and learn all this stuff." "Oh, no, Miss Daniel, it's cool, I'm really interested in it," and so on and so on. And of course, invariably, not only is it more work, but they're going to get little bits of it wrong because they haven't been sat in the psychology classroom. So don't do that. Just draw the content from the subjects that you do. Some subjects are absolute winners for drawing the subject content into ToK. So if you are fortunate enough to do DP Visual Arts, not only am I fully in praise of you for doing DP Visual Arts because it's a great course, but in visual arts you explicitly and directly look at the construction of artistic knowledge. So, in the comparative study, for example, in the curatorial construction of the exhibition, you're looking at why artistic knowledge exists in particular forms, and therefore it's very easy to bring it into ToK. So DP Visual Arts are very, very close to ToK. You all do Language A, but particularly in Language A, Language and Literature course, that looks at the construction of language and the nature of the relationship between language and knowledge. You're sort of very on the verges of getting like Wittgenstein in Language A, Language and Literature. And there's lots of content in language and literature that you can bring straight across into ToK. Things like intertextualization, contextualization, authorial intent, reader or audience effects or reactions or understanding. Lots there that you can bring straight over. Group 3, humanities, or individuals and societies. Psychology, obviously you study methodology, you study the construction of psychological knowledge or psychological theory. You look at research and the problems, the biases around the construction of psychological knowledge. So paper 3 for psychology is an absolute bonus for bringing straight into ToK. And I imagine that's similar in geography. In economics, you learn about the development of economic theory over time, which is the development of knowledge construction over time. I could go on and on and on, but certainly Group 1, Group 3 and Group 6, you have great easy knowledge to bring straight over. In Group 4, natural sciences, the nature of science aspects to Group 4, which are clearly directly related to ToK. I remember a few years ago, there was a question on one of the physics papers, which was what is a paradigm, or what is a paradigm shift? And the students, the physics students came out the exam and I said to them, what was the exam like? And they said to me, Miss Daniel, there was ToK on the physics exam. I said, I told you, everything is ToK. You can never forget ToK. It's crucial in everything. So there we have it, guys. 3 easy wins for the ToK essay, things which you can do to reduce the amount of time and the amount of work and the amount of stress involved in writing the ToK essay. It means that you can bring it off easily and you can deliver that essay with a lot less work. Just going back over those. Number 1, make sure that you answer the question which has actually been asked. Number 2, don't waste time on quotes and flowery introductions. Just get straight in there, get straight to the point. And number 3, draw examples from your hexagon subjects. Use your hexagon subjects as examples for evidence in the ToK essay. Okay, I hope that you found that useful. If you did, then hit like, and if you want to hear more and you want more help, then hit subscribe. If you want even more information, then go over to toktoday.com, and if you need even more help than that, you can contact me at daniel@toktoday.com. All I'll say to you is have a wonderful day doing your DP learning, stay ToKtastic, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.